welcome to the Nerdcast. The Insights will never mind. Hi, my name is Lido.
My name is Timmy.
I'm Ryan.
What's
How are
going
you
on,
doing,
man?
guys? What's good? What's good?
I'm in a very good mood today. Very good mood today.
Yesterday was fucking epic. I can't lie. I
An
was
experience for sure.
I was not ready for it to be that good. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I knew it was going to be good in it, but like,
Mm.
you know what it was? It was good, and it just kept coming, and it kept getting better.
Let me not even lie. I thought it was going to be shit. Because past experience with all these kind of like online conventions and stuff, and them doing kind of like online stuff, I thought it was going to be shit. But
I thought the streams were maybe like cutting out, maybe too much traffic.
Same.
Everyone trying to watch it, but it was like, I mean, on that side, it was very smooth, innit? Very smooth. There was no real like technical issues at all.
All right.
Right, what should we get into first?
Milestone Media, have to. The revival of Milestone Comics, obviously, in February.
It was a surprise panel as well. I mean, I know a few people were maybe expecting something else, but I mean,
What do you think
when I was
people
watching that
expecting?
panel, I was very happy. Sorry, what was that, Ludo?
What do you think people are expecting?
A lot of people were banking on Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, I saw a couple of tweets about that, but
yeah,
I mean,
and obviously we didn't get that, but what we got was very good, very, very good.
But going into Milestone Media, carry on, and obviously a potential Static Shock movie, animated and a live action one. What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was just live action. I thought they were.
Also animated as well.
Because what I saw was they were in serious talks with WB about a live action Static Shock film. I didn't say anything about animated one, but if they're gonna do both, by all means, do both, because obviously Static is like the titular character for when it comes to Milestone Media, Milestone Comics. So if we get to see Static on the big screen, I'm about that, 100%.
We have to create a franchise for that, isn't it? For Milestone Media.
Wait, can I ask the question? Is his name Static Shock, or is his name Static?
I was under the impression it's Static Shock, but then people just say Static because it's quicker.
Yeah, sure one.
Yeah, it's just shorter, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Even going toward a Static Shock live action movie, do you think, obviously, because it's been talked about for years, even before Milestone Media got back together and everything, that obviously Jaden Smith wanted to be, like.
Jaden Smith isn't a good actor.
Huh?
Jaden Smith isn't a good actor.
Hey.
So
his name has been at the top though when it comes to who to.
I saw a fan casting yesterday, and I can't remember the actor's name, but the kid from Stranger Things.
Mm.
I saw that fan casting. I don't know, maybe, isn't it? But I'm just happy that potentially it's going to happen. And just Milestone in general, like even on the comic side of things, where we're going to see like Rocket and Icon come back.
Yeah. Maybe
like Hardware, just for them to be creating like content, both comics and like movies potentially. Yeah, man, I'm here for it.
100%, man. Like it because obviously Milestone has such high importance as people call it like the Black universe of the DC, and to have those characters coming back.
It's got like cultural value to us lot. Like, do you
absolutely.
know what I mean? The guy summed it up perfectly yesterday. I can't remember his name when they was going through the panel, and yeah, it's all good and well reading comics, thinking, oh, I could be that superhero. But when you look like them, like you said, you can resonate with it a lot more. You feel it a lot more. So yes, it's a big win for us, man.
I'd also say it's very important and very very important this time because we're during a recession now. So many jobs are being cut as well, and so many they're downscaling. So different types of comics. For them to bring Milestone Media back shows they have a lot of support and a lot of backing for it as well. Because that could have been a comic that thought, it might have been making money, so why should we bring it back? Because they're bringing it back, it means a lot. It means a lot to obviously to see heavily black.
They're putting like support and faith behind it. Yeah, 100%.
Do you think the push for Milestone came before or after obviously the recent events of like the Black Lives Matter movement being revived and being pushed in main media? Do you think it was before those things happened?
I think with DC, I think they probably had it in plans, but this just accelerated it.
Right. Okay.
Just accelerate the process.
Yeah, I would have thought it's maybe something that they've had in the pipeline for a while. It's not. I don't think it's something that they would have been able to get ready, because they said there's like a movie in development. They've already got the comics ready. They've already got people who are going to be writing them. I don't think it's something that they could have got together that quick.
Yeah.
There definitely would have had to be some sort of planning beforehand.
Okay.
So it's good though. It's good that they were ahead of the curve with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jumping on the bandwagon, like, cool, yeah, Black Lives Matter is the cool thing now. So let's, pander or whatever, however you may see it. But we have a lot of faith in it. Just whatever content and throughout what it means, we could see.
Absolutely. I think wasn't what's his name? I think John Ridley was in that talk as well, and he said something about he's writing a black Batman character.
Yeah, it's a 4-issue mini-series, and yeah, it's gonna be a black Batman. And to me, I like it, but it depends on. So, for example, if they pull a black Bruce Wayne from a different universe, then I'm not here for that. Yeah. That's not what we want to see. Yeah. We don't want to see a black Bruce Wayne, because I want to see a black person, someone else who's their own character, step into the mantle of Batman.
Step into the cowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't mind if it was someone like Luke Fox, like Batwing, an established character who takes on the mantle. But equally, I wouldn't mind if it was a completely new black character that we've not been introduced to before. I'm like, either of them will make me happy, but I don't want to see like a black version of Bruce Wayne from another universe. Because for me, that's
what if it, like, say for example, what if it's a black character? He's a black billionaire. He's basically like Bruce Wayne, but his name's not Bruce Wayne.
Nah, but that's still Bruce Wayne. That's still.
It's still a reskin of Bruce Wayne. There has to be something that this character has unique to them that makes them different to Bruce Wayne. Do you see what I mean?
What do you think that may be though, to be unique to them? Because you understand, to be Batman, you gotta have certain resources as well.
No, see, that's the problem there. I think we hone in too much about Batman being a billionaire, so he has to have all this kind of like tech and stuff, and the Batcave and Batwave and all these kind of things. I think you can still have Batman without the money. It's just about how you go about it. You don't have to have billions and billions to be Batman, because
a new Batman doesn't have to be exactly the same as the previous Batman.
Yeah,
you know
fair enough. But Batman, he spent a lot of his wealth traveling around the world, learning new skills and that. Where is this guy gonna get stuff from?
Again, I think it's holding on the fact that Batman needs to have all these things in order to be Batman. You can still learn martial arts.
Who would be Batman?
No, bro. You can still learn martial arts without being a billionaire.
Bruce Wayne's version of Batman does, because that's how he.
There we go.
Batman.
Exactly. There we go.
But if you're looking at it just as like the mantle, if you're looking at it just as the mantle of Batman, someone else could potentially take a different path to get to that point. You see what I'm saying?
Like, you don't need to be a billionaire to learn martial arts. You don't need to be a billionaire to have gadgets and weapons and know how to fight crime and have, like money isn't like, okay, I get it that money is like Bruce Wayne's superpower, don't get me wrong. Like money is definitely like his ability, but take the money away, anyone can still become or be Batman without all that.
The thing is, if you took the money away from Bruce Wayne anyway, he would still possess a lot of the stuff that's unique to him that he needs to become Batman. I think even Matt Reeves said it on the panel yesterday. Yeah, people like to make the jokes about Batman's superpower being his wealth, but it's his ability to like endure. There's so many other things that he has besides the money that allows him to be Batman. True.
But having said that, I don't think it helps. Like, I don't think he'll be Batman without the money.
Yeah, it definitely helps, bro.
All right. The Suicide Squad game. What did you guys think? Because we spoke about this in the past, in the previous podcast as well. And I said that I was good. I wasn't like excited for it, but the trailer was good. The trailer was really, really good.
The only thing is, I mean, the trailer. I like the trailer. I like the action, but the characters aren't that gripping for me. The playable characters aren't that. I don't have that much of a desire to play with like King Shark or Boomerang. Do you know what I mean?
So you think we need?
I think it's one of those games where I would just have to buy it and see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Buy it and see how it goes, because obviously there's been games where I've not been major excited of them, but I buy it or play it somewhere and I fall in love. Just you don't know in it. Just because some games they portray better in the game than through trailers.
Yeah. I think it depends on how the game plays. Like, do you have to use all 4 characters? Do you get to choose who you pick?
They did say so it's a single player and multiplayer.
Okay.
Cool. And what you can do is, but if you do decide to play single player, any character is accessible at any time. You can switch between characters whenever you want. You're not constrained to like one character,
right?
Which is really good. And then obviously if you do co-op and you team up with your mates, you can play with between 1 to 4. So I'm guessing, say for example, you've got 2 people playing, you 2 can switch out with the other 2 characters that aren't being used.
Right.
Like I said last time, like GTA then.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so
in a sense, yeah, very close to that. Which I think that's quite good. I don't think we've had a game like that. And obviously, you're taking on the Justice League. And I think there was what I think is quite smart as well that they made it canon with the Arkham. That's very cool.
that helps.
And it explains why Batman's not in the game because obviously he's not around no more.
Yeah.
Because everyone was wondering
that
why
even
he wasn't in the game.
segue into Gotham Knights with Batman or Bruce Wayne being dead. What you guys thoughts on that?
Gotham Knights looks really interesting. Like it looks
so
very different from what they've given us in the past when it comes to like the Batman Arkham games and stuff like that. So I'm
fully invested. That's like an instant cop. That's an instant cop for me. Like day one.
Absolutely.
Ryan, you was very interested with the Owls as well.
The Court of Owls. Yeah, I think it's a great storyline for them to use. It's not really been touched upon in sort of the games that much. I mean, they're obviously more well known in the comics. We haven't seen them as much. I think it's a very good storyline, especially if they start to like delve into like Gotham and stuff, especially with Bruce not being there. It's got like potential for a very good storyline with the Court of Owls.
Delving into that the backstory of the elite of Gotham and how they've been entwined with the Court of Owls for centuries as well. That'd be very interesting to see.
And even how it relates to say like if you step away, but just Bruce Wayne or the Waynes, not even necessarily Bruce Wayne, but Thomas Wayne.
Thomas and his descendants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dating back. It'd be very good if it sort of delves into that.
They did say that the game would be deeper or like there is more to the story than just the Court of Owls. So it'll be different. It'll be interesting to see where they're expanding it to than just like, okay, the Court of Owls are the main like antagonists in the game. You need to defeat them, blah, 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 and fight all the talents and stuff like that. So if we are getting more than just the Court of Owls and we are really getting like an expansive look into Gotham and its history and, like you said, all like the elite families of Gotham somehow involved, that'll be sick to see. But like from the gameplay trailer that I saw,
to be honest, I was blown away.
It was the one thing that stood out to me was Robin teleporting, and I was like,
"What's going on?
What the fuck is this?" Like, and someone uses the Wayne satellite for short distance teleportation. I'm like, okay, I see it.
What do you think about the costumes and the designs? Because I'm gonna say it. Robin, it was a little bit confusing. His appearance and his costume, it was a little bit confusing at first. Is he Tim Drake or is he Damian Wayne? Obviously, we now know it's been confirmed he's Tim Drake.
Yeah.
But it was confusing. And also with
Red Hood.
Wait, confusing why?
Because some people thought he was Damian because his costumes changed. The first costume he was in, it looks more like a typical Damian costume. That was in the trailer. And then in the gameplay footage, he changed costume and he was wearing like the Red Robin costume.
Do you know it might be a case of where we either get skins or it might be a case of where there's like rollout gear where like, okay, you pick up a new piece of gear that improves your game.
He was considerably shorter as well.
Okay.
Maybe it's like a time skip or like a time jump in the game.
Possibly. We don't know. But I hope there is like a customization option where you can play in different skins but there is different gear.
There usually is on the Arkham games, isn't it? Yeah. Was there any character like in general that you was leaning towards that you want to use more?
Red Hood. Red Hood, bro. Red Hood from the jump.
Even though it might be plastic bullets, but Red Hood, bro.
Red Hood from the jump.
I can't get past the Deadpool mask he's wearing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. They made it look like Deadpool. Like, why are you doing that, man?
Like, I don't even think it's that nitpicky. I feel like it's very similar to Deadpool. To like, I can't not notice.
It's in your face. You can't ignore it. It's in your face.
Yeah, they could have just given him like a proper helmet.
It's so in your face, man. Like you can't ignore it. Literally, as soon as if
you get customizable skins, I'm definitely changing that ASAP.
Okay, what did we think of the Wonder Woman 84 panel?
So the panel itself, I thought was quite boring.
Yeah.
Like the panel itself. To be honest, not much of it interested me until we got to the footage.
Yeah. It was. I kind of feel like the panel was like a nice little warm up to like these.
Yeah, it was the opening panel as well.
Yeah, it was cutesy. They spoke to fans and they gushed over them, and then I was like, okay, it's fine, but I want to see what.
Cut to the chase, innit?
Yeah. So
it was the warm up for the whole event, man. It was a warm up.
Which is calm. So, like, someone's got to open up in it. But
exactly, someone's got to open up in it.
What do you think of Cheetah's design?
I liked it.
It was decent.
I
like
Like with what from what I saw from that panel, there was nothing that literally stood out that made me go, wow, oh yeah, this I'm waiting for this. This it was just it was a warm up, as you said, you know.
Yeah, same. I'm in agreement. It didn't like blow me away. I wasn't like, oh my god, I've got to go see this opening day. Obviously, I will anyway. But there was nothing spectacular about it. But there was nothing to make me think it's going to be a bad movie either. So
yeah. I mean, I'm in between. Like, it is what it is.
I think what I'm more interested to see is because is it Kristen Wiig? Like, she's known for doing comedy roles, isn't it? So it's going to be interesting to see her in like a serious action type role, and I want to see how she's going to do Cheetah justice, so to speak. But like her overall character design, I do like. It looks like Cheetah does, and like the animated stuff and things like that. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the panel overall wasn't great, like we said, but someone has to open up, I guess.
Exactly.
I just want. I would love.
It was the least exciting one, you know.
Yeah, I would love them to like open more about what went on behind the scenes. You know, a release date. You know, what we can expect from the story itself. You know, would there be potential future Wonder Woman films? Does it tie into Justice League? Like that, those are the kind of questions I wanted them to answer, but we didn't get that. We just got like, I love you guys. Like, you know, who do you like more? Like,
they were just basically telling each other. They were literally just telling each other how much they loved each other, and then that was it. They gave us the thing. But what do you think of Wonder Woman's costume just before, as the wings dropped off? I thought that looked good.
I mean, it looks good. It looks good, but I need to see it in action. I'm actually confused by the costume. I'm not seeing that Wonder Woman in that kind of costume in any kind of other media. So I want to know what the backstory is behind the goal.
How she gets it, why she's wearing it. Yeah,
that definitely needs to be explained. Although, okay, I will say though, in the panel, Venus Williams' appearance was nice.
That was cool. I liked it.
I did like that.
It was nice to know like how invested she is into like the DC, because anyone could pop up and they could say they're a fan.
Yeah.
She knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And then to see the artwork that Jim Lee drew of her as a hero.
That was dope. That was really dope. All right, what is next? The Flash movie. Did we watch the Flash panel?
Yeah, I watched the Flash panel. Obviously now, but, you know.
I think I missed it.
It was quite short, but I feel like this movie as a whole is one of the most important movies because everything that they spoke about regarding the multiverse, expanding the multiverse,
exactly.
The Batman movie, which we'll talk about later, existing on a different Earth or whatever. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for the Flash.
Yeah.
The storyline they're going to do. So, and one of the big talking points has been, are they going to do a soft reboot or are this or the other? We can see what they're doing, and obviously the Flash is going to be, this movie is going to be the linchpin of the multiverse going forward.
Also, so I can meet you cut in. Obviously, Flashpoint is going to be the catalyst for obviously to make the multiverse and everything else, all the other parts of the DC and everything, all the other labels they got to make sense. It's all going to stem from Flashpoint and what he does in this particular movie.
Yeah, 100%. That's why it's so important. And I think the direction they're going with it is like, even this movie is going to be very unique. I mean, we're going to have two Batmans in the same movie. Like, no one expected that. Out of nowhere, we had Michael Keaton's going to be in the movie, and then bang, again, out of nowhere, Ben Affleck's going to be it.
Yeah.
Like no one could have guessed that was coming.
Especially when Ben Affleck, obviously, he's got his own personal problems and everything that he's going through as well. And it seemed like he was done with the cowl as well.
I think he'll return. I think now that Snyder's kind of back with, and you know, the hype of the Snyder Cut, which we'll talk about later, I think Affleck will return because Affleck loved the role. Affleck loved playing Batman, and Affleck does Batman.
But that was never the problem. It was obviously his personal issues, isn't it?
I know. But like those kind of did that, and obviously the weed and issues and stuff did add to his leaving of, you know, the role of Batman. But if he does return, absolutely, that would be great. If he doesn't, at least we've got like
it's a way to say goodbye, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I think it'd be cool to have different Batmans at different stages of their career working in different movies simultaneously, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's really cool.
Not just one long where we see them grow as once, but different movies. We see we Patterson Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman, and the Keaton Batman all, you know, in movies happen at the same time. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like it shows like. I think it just hones in again on the whole multiverse theory of, you know, there's a different Batman on every Earth and every Batman is different. There's one Batman has more life experience than the other. one Batman didn't lose both his parents, or one Batman isn't Bruce Wayne type thing. Like the more we delve into the multiverse of things, the more.
I think if you looked at the concept art that they put out, so obviously we didn't see no footage, but they gave us some concept art, and we got like a new look at the new Flash suit.
Yeah.
But also you got Batman in the background, but it's interesting if you actually zoomed in and you looked, it's the Michael Keaton Batman.
I didn't notice that.
So yeah, it's the Michael Keaton Batman that's going to be that's going to give him that suit. So it would be cool to see like how the different Batmans do their thing differently, but in the same movie, in the same space.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because obviously Keaton's Batman is going to be different to Ben Affleck's Batman. And they'll be different ways. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that.
But I was annoyed when I saw obviously the CW Flash though.
What do you mean?
I mean, even that, like with the CW Flash, I mean, yeah, not as many people watch it now, but I think with that crossover scene they've done with Ezra, shows you the importance of the CW, like the culture of it, what they've done over the course of the last 7 years. Like they've been a very big thing. They've had a very big impact to the point where they can cross over with live action. And it was actually Grant Gustin's Flash that named the DCEU Flash, because he hadn't even named himself the Flash at that point. He was like, what, the Flash? So it was good that they actually tied that in, because I feel like the CW verse gets a lot of stick, but it deserves a lot of praise for what it's done.
True.
At the same time.
True. I mean, the shows aren't great, but for what it is, like I said, there is importance to the CW verse has importance within the wider picture of DC films and TV and things like that. So yeah, we do have to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah,
I would say the shows were great, and the writing just takes a deep dive after season 3 for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
because the thing is, it's consistent with all of the CW shows, or the good ones anyway.
Yeah, like they start off great and then they kind of get lazy with the writing and they try to do too much and force this character in here and change this storyline, and Barry messes the timeline again for the umpteenth time. And I can't lie, it gets boring watching Barry mess with the timeline. As much as that is like a titular part of the Flash, it gets boring when it's constantly the same thing. Like, I got to travel back in time. I got to travel back in time. I got to travel to the future. I got to, talk to the Speed Force, blah, 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 blah. It gets boring. Yeah.
But like I said, with that crossover, that scene, I think that the picture of the two Flashes together is going to be iconic. Yeah. And I think when people look back on the CW verse, people are going to say it had a very significant impact on the multiverse going forward.
You think the CW verse jumpstarted the whole multiverse like theory and making that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they saw what was going on with the CW Flash and were like, okay, we can expand that into the movies. Hence why we got the scene we got. They solidified the fact that the CW verse exists within the multiverse of things, and it's not just some side piece that they're not really paying attention to. Like, for example, just to select a tangent for a bit, like the way Marvel did with the Netflix shows, that they just kind of shove them to the side. They acknowledge the fact that the CW verse, the Arrow, tomorrow, all them people exist in the multiverse. And I think that's something DC do very well. When it comes to their multiverse, they do a very good job of acknowledging the multiverse as a whole. And that's something that Marvel lack a lot, personally.
Yeah, I agree. We could even say this is even a big point that the original Avengers don't even know that obviously Coulson's still alive and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's
like tying bridges like that. They don't do that very well.
Like there's you can't have. I know we're going off a tangent, but we can't have something as big as the MCU. Which, don't get me wrong, I love the MCU and stuff like that. But you can't have something as big as the MCU than have all these amazing shows and not
no tie-ins
directly tie them in. I mean, we did get a tie-in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because obviously Coulson was in Avengers and Nick Fury appears in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's kind of there, but you can't give us what we got. Iron Fist, we got Luke Cage, we got Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all these great shows, and then no link. And that's Marvel's problem. They took great assets and didn't acknowledge them. But that's what DC's for. I guess that's just another thing to just show like the comparison between DC and Marvel, where they had their strengths and weaknesses. And again,
that's just one of their differences.
Yeah.
Although I do think, we're not going to talk about Marvel too much, but going forward, they're going to try and change that. So
I hope so.
With Falcon and Winter Soldier, the new things coming on Disney Plus. Yeah,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
again, when I think of the multiverse, I look to DC because DC do it well. Whether that's in TV, movies, comics, they do it so well, and it's so much.
It's always been like a staple. But like I said, it's because they've got a character with the Flash. His powers are so unique, and he's not just a speedster.
Yeah,
he's linked to the Speed Force. The concept of the Speed Force allows to obviously travel within a multiverse. They've got a very important character there, and they can always use that to expand their multiverse in like different amount of ways.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. The Suicide Squad movie panel. I enjoyed it. It was fun. There was I didn't realize there were so many actors in the film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So many actors, like
the roster.
You know what? Because so many actors, there'll be a lot of them that actually die in it as well.
Yeah, I was wondering that. How many of them?
I think they're going to be canon for though.
Yeah, a lot of them will. A lot of them. It does. It looks fun though. It looks fun.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just going to be a lot of death and killing and explosions and everything else, but it does look fun. Like the full roster when they announced it, I was like, okay, cool. I don't know that character.
Yeah, exactly. There's characters, and that's the thing. There's characters there that I've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in admitting that because I know for a fact there's going to be people claiming they know every single character, but you don't. Like, stop lying because
you know them cappers there, bro.
I've never seen these characters.
How do you not know Weasel, bro? How do you not know Weasel?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off, mate.
Pick up a comic, bro.
Need to read the comics, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But it'll be interesting to see how, because like you said, we've never heard of some of these characters, how he makes them interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to care about a character that we don't know about. So if he can make us care about them or invest us into them or make us say, oh, let me do some more research about that character actually, then I think that'll be a job well done.
Absolutely. What did you think of the behind the scenes footage?
I think it looked cool. I think some of the fight scenes look cool.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say as well, the evolution of Harley's costumes throughout the movies has been good. I think this is her best costume yet. She looks sick.
She's the face of the franchise, man. You got to give it to her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maggie, she made literally Harley Quinn like become a solo character, if that makes sense. Now she got her own animated series.
Managed to get Peter Capaldi in there. Like I think that could be he could be sick.
The roster looks good. Like you can't fault the roster of the actors they've got, man. Because even if they are just kind of fun, like you're gonna get some really good scenes. I hope anyway, some really good scenes in this film where, like, it's gonna be fun. I think the problem with the first Suicide Squad film was like they tried to be too serious, and they tried to make it seem like the Suicide Squad was a serious thing, where it should have just been like fun, chaotic film. And hopefully they do that justice with this new one. Question: do you think Joker's going to return at all in this film?
I don't think so.
I think they moved away from him.
Yeah, okay. I think
this
is for all DC EU movies at the moment. I think he's off the table for a while.
Okay.
Especially off the back of the success of the Elseworlds Joker movie. I don't think there's any real need. There's no need for DC to actually use him at the moment. Do you know what I mean? We've got to a point as well where Harley has separated herself from the Joker as well.
Like I said, she's the whole main character.
He's like Ludo said, she's the face of the franchise, rightly so. You can let her breathe. She doesn't need the Joker. She's a very good character by herself.
Absolutely.
And also, Batman, the Batman we're going to see very soon, he's still in his early stages and that. We don't need the Joker yet right now.
We'll get into that.
Need him.
Yeah. This episode of the ELGATO podcast is brought to you by ELGATO and the new Wave 1 microphone. Now, I know you're probably thinking this is some generic podcast ad, but mate, you cannot deny the sound quality. The new Wave 1 has allowed us to deliver an incredible audio experience for you guys, while still allowing us to deliver the same great content you all love and enjoy. So go check out the new Wave 1 and see how it can improve your audio content. Now, back to our episode. Okay, the Aquaman panel. I didn't watch it because I wasn't really expecting much from it. But what happened? I know.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot actually. There wasn't a lot of content in there really. It was just Jason Momoa wasn't even there actually. It was Patrick Wilson. So yeah, there wasn't too much. There was no footage or anything. They were just pretty much talking about plans for the next movie, and essentially James Wan said that the next movie. It was confirmed that Ocean Master or Orm is going to be returning as a character. capacity. We're not sure, but he'll be there. But they said that the movie is going to be more serious, and it's going to try and reflect on the real world currently, how the world.
What does that mean exactly?
Right? Do they mean like pollution and like water pollution and stuff like that?
I'm not sure, but I don't know.
Because I know it's been a theme like in the comics, like dating back, that a lot of the reason why like people like wants to, like, you know, succeed from like the people in the overground, in it, above waters, because obviously they pollute the seas and waters and that. So would it be something to do with that?
It could be. That was my like first thought as well. But they honestly didn't really say enough to actually make us. They didn't give us enough to go on to actually make assumptions.
Also, do you think Orm was a good enough character to be a recurring villain?
No, personally.
Or how he was portrayed anyway. To come back again.
No.
I think in the first movie he was a pretty like generic villain. So like I understand what people were saying though, but I think you can definitely bring him back, and you can definitely, because even within like Aquaman as a character, Ocean Master he's always been recurring. You know what I mean? Just like Black Manta.
Right.
The capacity is for it there, but like he has to be a different character to what he was in the first movie, which I expect him to. I expect his capacity in the movie to be completely different than it was.
Do you think in this movie
he's not the villain?
Yes, and in this movie, kind of him and, you know, Aquaman work together.
Maybe seeing eye to eye on a few stuff. Maybe like he's not as extreme as he was in the past, because obviously ultimately he's not really the villain in this movie. Black Manta is. So it does allow us to see Ocean Master in a different capacity. You know what I mean? But they have to expand on him like that. Otherwise, he's just going to come across as the same generic villain that he was in the last movie. So they have to do something different.
Maybe a brother team up on this one then.
Hopefully, I think it would be sick. But it's not that they haven't worked together in the past, because obviously Ocean Master is for the advancement of his people, for the protection of his people.
Yeah, for the most part anyway, yeah.
Yeah, he's not necessarily this evil guy, you know what I mean?
But then again, with him as well, he's another character that, with his reason, you don't blame him, because obviously the humans, they don't consider themselves humans, obviously Atlanteans or whatever. They do obviously mess up their waters, pollute it, put oil, rubbish into their waters, kill off their wildlife and that. So
he has a point.
There's a very valid reason, you know, to be angry against, you know,
dislike humans. Yeah, of course.
Against mouth breathers, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm still really I'm really peeved about this whole like reflecting the real world today issue. I really want to understand what that is, because that could be a number of things. Oh, but obviously because of dealing with Aquaman, it must have something to do with like the environment and pollution. But
I think it's environment pollution.
But that doesn't really excite me. If you get what I mean, I'm not really.
Yeah, I think it might also be like I don't know, innit? We don't know what's going to happen in regards to like Atlanteans, whether they're going to be sort of, or whether like say humans are going to know more so about Atlanteans. It's not a secret anymore that Atlanteans exist. Maybe it's the human perception on Atlanteans, or the Atlanteans' perception on humans. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they think that humans are subpar to them because of the abilities they possess, or maybe it's the other way around. It could be something like that. You don't know. I think there'll be some form of like prejudice in there or something. In it.
Yeah, that's a shout. I'm also thinking maybe with the, obviously going back to the environmental stuff, and obviously the big spill and the oil spills. A lot of these oil spills happen from big massive corporations, like, you know, dumping things to the water. So maybe there's an aspect where obviously Aquaman is fighting these big corporations, or some of these big corporations, they hire either or someone like Black Manta to protect their interests in the sea.
Yeah.
I think going for like a backdoor route.
Yeah. There's also one other thing in there which James said something about exploring new worlds, and I didn't take that literal as like a new world, but
just another part of the sea, probably.
What do you mean by that? We'll say, for example, will Flashpoint? I mean, I can't remember the dates of the movies, but if Flash comes out before Aquaman, will Flashpoint affect that in any way? I don't know.
Also, exploring new worlds, maybe exploring the trench.
Yeah, that could be a good thing.
Is the trench?
I was still getting that trench movie.
Explorable? I mean, with those like creatures in there, is the trench even explorable?
Guess we'll find out, innit?
Fair enough. All right.
One second. Sorry, Timmy, to cut off. I was still getting that trench horror movie.
I think so.
I hope so. Not. I hope so. Do you know what? I can see the horror. I can see the film happening. Like in my head, what I see is like, okay, so scientists or someone goes to explore the trench. someone gets killed. Okay, then they have to go investigate, and then it just comes a whole massacre type thing where they're running from their lives from like the creatures from the trench, and then somehow Aquaman shows up at the end. I don't know, but it is like for like a sea monster movie type thing. It interests me a lot. Like I will watch that. I would, but it would have to be on like something like Netflix or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, the Shazam panel. I mean, apparently nothing happened. I didn't watch it either. So
there were okay. So I'm gonna say that there was like a few jokes in there, or whatever, but like amongst the cast and that. But
yeah.
the Shazam panel had less content than the Wonder Woman panel.
That's bad. That's really bad.
It did. Essentially, all they done was run a few jokes, and then they announced the official title of the movie,
which is
that was pretty much it. Shazam: Fury of the Gods, I believe.
Okay.
You might get like Zeus and that pulling up.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
I mean, obviously, gods. There's going to be like mythology, the mythology that's linked, obviously, to Shazam with his gods, his pantheon of gods. It will be interesting if they, like, I expect them to build on that. Obviously, tell us more about the mythology, but
maybe like the villains. Also, this is going
to show us a little bit, allude to the. Obviously, we know Black Adam's coming anyway, but it would be nice if they alluded to it in the Shazam movie, because
absolutely
we want to know and we want to confirm that these two are going to clash at some point.
Yeah.
That's what we want to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice having Shazam. It's nice having Black Adam, but it will be a lot better if we know they're going to come together at some point.
Also, I'll say with the Shazam movie, because he threw the gods that maybe the gods are the villains or they have a role to play. This reminds me of in Injustice, the Injustice comics.
Yeah.
When Shazam trying to fight the gods and Zeus like, bro, I gave you these powers.
Yeah.
See, stuff like that would be very cool.
Like if they do that, I would also hope that they link it somehow to Wonder Woman as well. They just kind of tie in the fact that obviously, Zeus is Wonder Woman's father, but Zeus also gave Shazam his powers just to add a little bit more to the world expansion and show there's clear links between these characters. Hopefully they do that well. But
it'd be very cool to add to the world planning and the world view of that as well.
What is next? Black Adam, the Black Adam panel. I don't know what it's about The Rock, but I swear any opportunity he gets to talk about gains and weightlifting and getting head.
He said
as wild as him, you would too, innit? I can't lie, bro.
Trust me. Like
he said he had to take his regimen to the next level for the Black Adam. So he said he's even more like
he looks huge, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely wham.
He's gonna walk Shazam's ass, bro.
The Rock, innit? Everyone knows, innit? Over like the past couple of years, he's been a very active actor. He's been in so many different movies, innit? Yeah. But the way he talks about this role is it's like he's treating it different. He's very invested in this role, innit? Like it seems like
for years as well, man. So I don't blame him.
When he was talking about the backstory of obviously Black Adam and how he's a slave and how he overcame slavery and he's seeking out justice in his own way. Like when he was speaking like that, I was like, okay, so he truly is invested in this character. He wants to do this role justice. I can see
done his research. He's passionate about it.
Yeah, I can see from the way he's talking about it. It's not just like he's reading off like a teleprompter and he's just like saying whatever. He clearly is invested in.
One of the good things about it is as well though is like at the moment The Rock sort of like in the industry, he's pretty much like a superstar actor. Yeah, he's like a superstar actor. He has a lot of clout in it, so he can come into the DCEU and he can put everyone on notice, and he can say for a joke that he's going to change the hierarchy of the DCEU, and he can say for a joke and he can imply that at some point him and Superman are going to have a fight. But I think he genuinely has like the clout to sort of
make that happen.
Make things happen behind closed doors. He can genuinely tell like the DCEU guys or whatever, the guys in the offices that are running shit. He can say, listen, I want this to happen and I want this to happen. And the potential is, obviously, we didn't get anything yesterday necessarily on Superman or Henry Cavill, but that's one big thing that is potentially going to keep Henry Cavill and Superman there, is the potential of that clash between them two. That's what everyone wants. And if he wants it to happen, I think he's going to make it happen.
And I don't think there's... You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think if The Rock was to come in with wanting to make certain things happen, I don't think that's coming from a place of just like, I I don't know, like arrogance or whatever. It's coming from a place like he knows, I guess, in a sense, what people want to see. It's going off what people have seen in comics. Like, of course, people want to see Black Adam and Superman going against each other. Like, who doesn't? Especially with, like, I guess the bravado of Black Adam, where he sees himself as this powerful being. Of course, he wants to go against Superman, man. Like, if they make that happen.
Yeah, but it's just the way he does it, though. The way he does it, like you said, you can see it's not coming from a place of arrogance, like, oh, I'm here to take over.
Yeah.
He just wants to make it as excitable for the fans as much as possible and for himself. Because, like you said, you see how much he wants to, like, play this character. Honestly, I think Black Adam, it's in my top 3 for, like, most anticipated. And that's even without seeing any footage.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's gonna do that role justice. Like, I think when The Rock playing Black Adam is like Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn. It's like what's his face?
Yeah.
Ryan who's Deadpool again? Freaking
Ryan
Reynolds. Yeah, like Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, or Hugh Jackman playing.
Have that type of potential where
what do you think of the JSA announcement? Like, with all the
exactly. That was like before we even mentioned that. Like, we're just talking about The Rock. He's not even mentioned like the other characters in the movie. Atom Smasher, Hawkman, who we've never seen live action before properly.
Fate, bruv. Dr. Fate is my guy. Like, I cannot wait to see Dr. Fate in film, bruv. I need to know who's playing him. Because he's Dr. Fate.
In this movie, in Black Adam, he's not even meant to be a bad guy because his own movie. He's going to be the anti-hero type thing in this movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be the JSA encouraging him to join them, seeking our justice, being the hero, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to do his own thing. And at the end of it, he's going to just, F off. And I don't know. I think what we will see, what will happen is you're going to see the JSA versus Black Adam on screen.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And he's just going to F them up.
Dr. Fate versus Black Adam. That's
crazy.
That's exciting.
That is good.
I'd also say this, that with Black Adam, he's been like a morally ambiguous character himself, because you can't say with Black Adam that he's necessarily evil. He's always been, one of those on the murky lines. He floats.
He's on the fence, isn't it?
Yeah, he's on the fence, and obviously what he does, obviously for his people, and what he feels he will do right for them. He protect them, and he's in his own way.
Yeah,
so you gotta say
he believes in his judgment in it, essentially, in it.
Yeah.
Also, I think the one thing that was maybe disappointing is I don't like seeing Hawkman without Hawk Girl. Do you know what I mean?
I hear it.
It's just, I don't know, innit? I feel like if you could put one in there, you could put both. Especially where Hawkman's character is like, in a sense, very reliant on Hawk Girl. Like, for me, they should come as a parent. I don't like it when
they are linked, right? They've been linked since.
Yeah, they're like entwined or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the history behind them, for me, like they should both be in the movie rather than just one. Or there has to be links that suggest that she does exist.
Yeah, but if they're gonna do that, then won't they also have to include Vandal Savage?
At some point, but I just feel like Hawkman shouldn't be there without her. Personally.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they're very much linked characters. They're a pair essentially. Okay, let's talk about the Snyder Cut. The fucking Snyder Cut, bruv. How does the freaking trailer opens up with Darkseid, bruv?
Yeah,
I can't lie, that's my shit. I love my shit.
Yeah, when I saw that, like straight away, because obviously you've seen people saying, "Oh, it's the same movie." No, it's not.
Ryan. I'm surprised. Ryan, sorry, but you actually watched the trailer.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, of course he would, man. Come on.
You have to watch it.
It's Fandome.
I watched it like 2 years.
Bro, I watched it. I watched all the trailers yesterday. To be fair, I can say
these are your first trailers for like 2-3 years, isn't it?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, right. Like, Ryan does not watch trailers at all. So.
I'm gonna say you don't watch trailers at all.
I haven't watched trailers since Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's when I stopped watching trailers. I remember. And Fandome came, and I've listened. A Snyder Cut trailer coming out. There's
absolutely gonna watch that, bro.
You have
no chance I was gonna miss that.
Okay, what were the notable differences in? Obviously, I know it's not the whole film, but obviously in the trailer, what did you notice that you didn't see in?
The more emphasis on Cyborg's character and his storyline. That was the most notable from the trailer. That's what I noticed the most.
Yeah. I think the shooting, you can tell it's different. Like, in that other version of the movie, like there's obviously like the red tints. There's like red tints all over it, and that this one it's got like more of like a blue tint to it in like terms of how it actually looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the emphasis on Cyborg. You can see the emphasis on Cyborg.
I think Snyder did say in the panel, in the panel that the film will revolve around Cyborg because Cyborg is the heart of the story. He is the glue of.
He's the mobile box, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that in itself just makes you want to watch the film more because that wasn't evident in the original cut. Because
to be fair though, it's been said years back that Cyborg he was meant to be the heart of the film from the very start.
Yeah, that was always the plan.
It just backs the point. It backs the point.
Yeah, it backs the point. Yeah, because in the original cut, he was just like, all right, he's there. All right.
You know what? Do you know what was good? Do you know what was very good as well? It was nice to see Ray Fisher looked so happy when that panel was going on yesterday.
Yeah.
Because even if you like, obviously we know what's been going on with like Ray Fisher and everything recently, like. He's an up-and-coming actor. This is like obviously the biggest role he's ever had. He's never had like a role like this before.
Yeah.
So imagine having the movie centered around you. You're like the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
The director fully believes in you, and then you essentially have that snatched away from you. Like that's like, you know, it's upsetting, isn't it? But he's got that back now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to see Cyborg's story more so than any other character in the movie.
One thing I can say though, how do you guys feel about the reveal of Silas dying in the trailer?
I think that's just part of like the story.
I think yeah.
But even that's like a big reveal. I saw we're not meant to. We all come out and said we don't like when Marvel when they do big reveals in trailers.
No, but
I don't see that as a big reveal though, because that's such a massive
the story of Cyborg though. We know his dad dies.
You kind of know that anyway.
Yeah. His dad's death is an inevitable fact. It's just there. Like
it's essential to his character, isn't it? Yeah.
It's more about the how and it's more about the emotional journey to that point of his death. That I want to see. So I don't really him dying doesn't change things for me. It's the how do we get to the point where he's in that room with the mother box and he ends up getting disintegrated? What leads to that? I want to hear the dialogue behind that. I want to be emotionally invested in that point. Do you know what I mean? Not just that, okay, he's dead, move on. I didn't see when I watched the trailer, I didn't notice it, but I didn't notice anything from the Nightmare Future.
Okay, I did. I picked up on things, and this is I had to watch it a few times, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Talking like some of it's just an Easter egg, but the Nightmare Future, when we peeked into it, do you know what I found interesting? If you look at Aquaman's trident, remember in the Justice League movie, he has a different trident. He gets the new trident in Aquaman, which is later. It's the new trident. It's the one that James Wan used. So that's the new trident of Aquaman's trident that's like standing in the ground. Yeah. Yeah. So that obviously implies it gives us some sort of scope on the time frame of when it happens, if it does the Nightmare Future. And the other thing I noticed in there was do you see the card, that blue? Mm-hmm. That was actually a Joker calling card. So even though we said earlier that the Joker's probably benched, there's probably just a cool Easter egg to throw in there that Joker's still alive and kicking in some capacity.
I want to rewatch the trailer to see that part.
Also, you know, they said that obviously it's going to be released in 4 parts, and international audiences are going to get a different feature. What do you think they mean by that?
I think because Snyder said that they're working on distribution rights and things like that for people who don't have HBO Max, so AKA
for us guys, basically.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think what they will do is, I can only assume that the UK is going to get it on Sky, and then it'll be released in 4 parts on Sky, Sky Go, Sky Atlantic, wherever it is, because there's no way they'll make us pay, like a one-off fee to watch it. Do you know what I mean? Because HBO Max is a streaming service, so the film has to be able to be available on a streaming service or part of,
but HBO
our TV packages.
Subscribers are ultimately paying to watch it, so why wouldn't we have to?
No, but I'm saying when you obviously, but with like things like with Sky, you pay for Sky, innit?
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Sky is a package deal. You pay for Sky, you pay for Sky Atlantic, you pay for Sky Movies, wherever it is. So, however we need to pay for it, that needs to be involved somehow. But we should be able to get it here in the UK somehow without having HBO Max.
Also, I'm hearing you're trying to package a version where you can watch all the 4 hours at once.
There is he said there's like a version of that as well.
I might wait for that version. I can't lie. I might wait for that version and just watch it all in one go. I don't think I get why it's being released in parts. Don't get me wrong, but I think for my experience, I'll watch it in one they go and have to just dodge spoilers for as long as possible.
You have to ignore social media.
I have to come off. Yeah, I have to come off. I have to.
I mean, the thing
How
is,
do you think they release it? One a day, like one a week, one a month?
I think it'll be one a week.
the thing is, because obviously no one knew that the Snyder Cut was going to come out, and even Zach didn't even know that it was going to happen. So he was sharing a lot of stuff from the movie on like Vero and social media. He's actually sharing a lot of like storyboards and that. So I know a lot of what happens anyway. And it's interesting because even with the trailer, there's like, do you mind if I spoil like a little bit?
Go for it.
No,
like,
I've read some stuff.
When you say spoil,
it's not a massive spoiler. It doesn't ruin it.
Is it in the trailer? Is it in the trailer?
In the trailer, but it's a lot of things that people might not know.
I read a lot about the Snyder Cut as well, so I know how it's meant.
Spoiler warning. But yeah, go for it.
Way back when he was uploading storyboards to Vero and showing people. And remember from Man of Steel, remember the general was actually Martian Manhunter?
Yeah, Martian Manhunter, yeah.
We didn't know that yet. And you know the scene in the trailer we got yesterday where Martha, Superman's mum.
Oh, Pierce to Lois, isn't it?
That's the storyboard. So that should be Martian Manhunter. And that's when we should see Martian Manhunter in the movie.
If we get Martian Manhunter in this movie,
yeah. Well, I'd be very surprised if he confirmed he was in it, and it's Zach's movie, so he has to be in it.
Yeah, but do you think we'll actually see Martian Manhunter? Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, you see him transform into Martian Manhunter. That's meant to happen directly after that little bit of scene there, as he like leaves.
All the Oscars, all the awards, give it to him. Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah. What do we think about Darkseid's appearance? Because the CG did look a little bit.
Do you know what? I loved it. I'm not even gonna front. I loved it. I love seeing Darkseid on screen. Clearly, obviously, it's a Darkseid before he gets his titular, the helmet and the suit and everything else.
I thought that would have been clear to everyone. But
apparently not. So, there was like people like, that's not Darkseid. That doesn't.
Darkseid didn't come out of the room looking all,
I saw that tweet. But yeah, like it's clearly Darkseid.
And obviously they have a lot of time. They have a lot of time still to touch up on the CG. So obviously, by the time the movie's released, I'm expecting it to not look like that.
Is it made a Steppenwolf look more like monstery, not more humanoid? If that makes sense.
Yeah. He
looks so much better. So much better. He actually looks menacing.
Yeah.
Like
I like
that other version of Steppenwolf. It's embarrassing. It looks like you can compare a TV show budget movie like costume to a high budget one. That's like the comparison. That's what it looks like. This Steppenwolf actually looks like he can hurt people.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Like Darkseid alone, like has sold me on this thing, man. Like I thought we were gonna get like a quick look at Darkseid, maybe like half a second preview of him, but I didn't know we were gonna get like a full on frontal look at Darkseid, his weapons, the parademons, everything. Like it just looks like it's the film we wanted, bruv. It's the film we wanted when this thing was first announced.
You get that feeling straight away that it's the film that we wanted, and straight away people just like, okay, this is what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And the black suit Superman as well. It's funny.
One thing I'll say, it looked cool, but I wanted the long hair, man.
That would have been perfect. I would have preferred the long hair. I would have preferred.
I don't know if that's nitpicky, but I wanted the long
hair.
Wait,
long hair on who?
I get you, bro. I get you 100%.
Does he have long hair with the black suit? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He has like a mullet comes like down to like there or something. A little mullet. Looks sick.
Okay.
That would be nice.
It's a long hair because it probably shows how he's been in cryostasis or near death and how he's
still growing, isn't it?
A bit more. Yeah, man. I would have felt it a bit more,
What's the actual story behind the black suit? Because obviously, don't get me wrong, black suit looks sick. But what's the actual story behind Superman having a black suit?
So when he died, when he was killed, obviously he wasn't actually dead. He was like in a comatose state, or like Lugo said. And essentially that was just the armor placed around him that was like healing him. So when he come back, that's what he was wearing.
Okay.
And he ran with it for a bit. And just kept it for a bit.
I thought it'd be something a bit more deep than that, but he looks sick.
Read The Dark Knight Rises. You know, one where Doomsday kills Superman and he comes back.
Yeah.
Read that. The Rise and the Death and Return of Superman. If you read that, it should explain most of it and cover it.
I didn't watch the Superman movie, the animated ones. It covers it, the Death of Superman, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot even that. Yeah, you can watch an animated movie as well.
Also, I don't know if they still get. Wait, yeah, I think it's a spoiler, man. I forget because obviously the black Superman suit also means something else for this one. You know how he. Do you know
Oh
about
yeah,
Rand?
yeah. There's a few rumors, and I'm not actually sure.
Yeah,
Explain.
that that,
If
that,
it's a
that
rumor,
rumor.
shit, it's fine.
Hmm?
What,
I don't want to spoil it for people.
No, this is a big spoiler. This is a big.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. We'll talk after. We'll talk after. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The Batman panel. The
Wow.
You know
Bat.
what's, you know what's,
At
you know
first, yeah, when I first saw the snapshot, I was like, Robert Pattinson looks a bit skinny. I was like, but obviously, I got to explain to me that obviously he's still year two, obviously he still hasn't fully bulked up, and also just
Yeah.
him in the suit, he looked big enough anyway. He did look
Yeah.
like Nightwing in the suit, like just in terms of physique, like
Yeah.
skinny head, you know.
No,
And
it does.
just,
Yeah. Like So what?
but
I
his
think what
Batman voice as well.
I like his Batman
I'm
voice.
Batman. I'm vengeance. So
I like everything.
he's still
but
angry. He's still going through. He's still like trying to find a way to obviously healthfully get over, dealing with his parents, death of his parents. He's not there for justice just yet. He's just to like break people's backs and necks. That's what he's about right now.
Just mashing up villains and shit, bro.
Yeah. All people to call him. That's what he's about right now.
Like,
what I want to say is, you see this myth here. There's this myth that goes around in it about Batman fatigue, innit? Batman fatigue don't exist. It doesn't exist.
Whoa.
No, bro.
In gaming, it definitely does. In gaming, it does. In gaming,
Ryan, let me. Okay,
Batman fatigue does not exist.
let me explain. Let me explain. No, Ryan. Let me explain.
Robert Pattinson, we are here. Batman is here. There's nothing you look.
Let me explain Batman fatigue. Let me.
Listen, long live Batman in live action.
Like I said, Batman. No, bro. Let me explain. Okay, as someone who suffers from Batman fatigue, let me explain Batman fatigue to people. Yeah, Batman fatigue is when we get the same regurgitated stories and images and versions of Batman across multiple mediums. That's what Batman fatigue is. So whether that's
Batman fatigue is when we get Batman in movies. Doesn't need to be like Justice League Dark. He didn't need to be there in games. All the games.
He's in movies, he's in games, he's in cartoons, he's in comic books,
live action,
he's in TV shows. He's on a cereal box. He's on the side of a bus. Like Batman fatigue is just
comics. He turns up in different games. Like, bro, that's Batman fatigue.
At the end of the day, yeah, Batman is a character that he just as a character he just possesses stuff that other characters don't have, and he's a character. He will always be there. He will always be marketed, especially when you're looking now how they're going to use 3 different versions of Batman in live action, and I'm equally excited as all 3.
Like I'm excited.
I love his Batmobile. His Batmobile looks like a Hellcat. His Batmobile.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of the still images, like regarding the suit and the Batmobile, people weren't really sold. I liked them in the images, but I think they looked even better when you actually see them moving in the trailer.
Yeah, perfect. I think Matt Reeves explained that obviously this Batman exists on another Earth within the multiverse. So it's like year 2 Batman. So once I got those things like together, like it's not obviously the Bruce Wayne we know. That's what sorted it for me, because the way he looks isn't your stereotypical Bruce Wayne, big guy in a suit, blah blah blah. It's like early Bruce Wayne, still discovering how to be Batman.
Emo as well. It looks very emo.
Like he looks young. He looks like a young Bruce Wayne. Maybe like,
you know what? He almost looks like. I mean, obviously, it's very like early to make assumptions, but it looks like it's a Bruce Wayne or a Batman that still hasn't fully processed his parents' death yet.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He's still kind of going through it. He's pissed off at Gotham. He's now really starting to find out what Gotham's really about.
Yeah.
What really goes on in the underworld of Gotham, and he's not here for it, and he's not going to have it.
And also, he's still in the stage, like, obviously, when they asked him, who are you in it? Where a lot of the criminals and people still think Batman's a myth, and the civilians, like, so still think, like,
that's the best part. You know, people were like in the alleys, like in the henchmen in the games. Batman doesn't exist.
Exactly. They just swooping down, like, yeah.
Oh, shit, it's the Bat!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even the Gotham citizens are not fully sold on the concept of Batman yet. They don't know if is he here to save us, help us? Like,
yeah, exactly. They don't know it. They think, oh, bro, anyone can go.
Did you notice Riddler and Penguin in the trailer?
Colin Farrell, fam, they changed him up, man.
Bro.
Yeah, that's a big transformation.
I did not recognize him at all. I'm excited for this film. I can't lie. I'm excited for this film.
What Reed said as well, though, about so obviously the Batman is quite young, So naturally, his villains aren't necessarily villains yet. It's not an origin for Batman, but for the Rogues Gallery, it's kind of like an origin for them. It's kind of like an origin for them. So the Penguin, as Matt Reeves said, he doesn't even like being called the Penguin yet. So he's not stepped into that role yet, innit?
Yeah.
So
do you think
it's cool? It'd be cool to see all the Rogues and Batman grow together as well going forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Riddler, the voice for the Riddler sounded amazing because you could hear him talking throughout the trailer. He sounded spot on. So I'm very interested to see him. Catwoman looked good.
Yeah.
But it's just even the movement, the movement. If you was to play, say, the Arkham game and you've used Catwoman and then you look...
He moves like that. Yeah. I'm seeing this film. I have to see this film, man. Do you think with Penguin, do you think it's going to be the traditional story of that the Cobblepots were rich, lost their wealth, trying to reclaim?
That'll definitely have an element of his wealth. He'll have sort of that hostility towards the Wayne family and whatnot. I think that'll definitely be there. That's a big part of the character, and I think if they're going to build on that and like sort of flesh out the Penguin character, then it's definitely something that they need to touch on.
Yeah, I don't mind him deviating from obviously the Oswald Cobblepot's origins, but just as long as it fits in with the movie, I don't mind. They don't have to deviate. With the Rogues, they don't have to deviate. Just go with what works and flesh out the characters.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a different Earth, innit? It's not the standard Earth for DC, so they could do anything with Cobblepot and Penguin. They could do anything with Riddler. It doesn't have to be the same traditional stories that they tell. So we'll have to see.
I think the GCP as well. There was like that scene where it looks like all the police officers are about to attack Batman.
Yeah.
Usually, Batman has the GCPD on Smash. Like, they just answer to him. But obviously,
it's early days, don't it?
They don't know him yet either.
Exactly. They're like, who are you?
You're going to see the relationship between him and Jim Gordon, where it's going to get to a point where Jim knows, okay, this guy's on our side, sort of thing, innit? That would be interesting to see the dynamic between them.
For sure.
Yeah, so what do you guys thought of the fight scenes then?
It was very brutal. Like, that's how I want to see Batman fight. It's brutal. Like, you know.
So Ryan, you're admitting. Ryan. So you're admitting, Batman, he basically beats people to an inch of their life then.
He fucked that guy up in the trip. He fucked him up.
I'd rather you kill me than paralyze me. Just saying.
Swings and roundabouts, bro. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
It depends. No.
Listen. If you're not a criminal in Gotham, then you have absolutely nothing to worry about.
Bro, I sell weed, bro.
He punched him up calm, and then I think he snapped his arm.
He broke his arm.
Dislocated his shoulder, smashed his face in. I was like, bro.
Yeah, but they asked who he was. Batman had to show them. Like, who are you?
Bro, all you be doing is loading something onto a truck, and Batman will break your neck. But his Joker, he wants to play fair. Get out of here, man.
Don't work for the Joker then. It's simple, isn't it? Get a normal job.
Man. I got to feed my family, man.
People got kids to feed, bro. Got bills to pay.
Bro. There's no jobs in Gotham.
Listen. Wayne Enterprises is hiring, bro. Listen.
Absolutely. No, but Ryan, you're right. The fight scenes were very brutal. And don't you think that would be, because also a lot of people say that one reason they didn't like the Batfleck Batman, because apparently he's too brutal and like he kills or whatever. Don't you think that'd be like a criticism of Robert Pattinson's Batman as well?
Maybe. I don't think that, like, obviously we literally see Ben Affleck licking shots out of the Batmobile at people, innit? We know they were dying, innit? We saw him branding people, innit? So I think that's a level up, innit?
Batfleck didn't kill anyone though.
What? What do you think of him blowing someone up, bro? You that guy survived?
The guy with the grenade.
Right, you saw it, innit? Right, you saw it.
No. Batfleck did not kill anyone.
Rest in peace, innit?
Hey, Timmy. That guy blew people up.
He got blown to smithereens.
No. He maimed him, bro. So, like, he lost an arm or two. So what? He didn't kill him.
No. That guy lost his life.
No. He lost a couple arms.
He blew up the truck and there was nothing left.
Bam. So he got burnt a bit. So he's paralyzed. All right, cool. Fine. Calm. Yeah.
In that movie, Batman caught bodies.
Equal bodies, man. Equal bodies. You just got to stay the spade.
Just to go back to your point about whether it's too brutal or not, like, it's just reiterating the fact that this Batman does not exist in the main Earth of the DC. Like he is Batman in his own right and on his own earth, so he can play by his own rules.
But that is true. But the common theme with Batman's always been.
Yeah,
It's
sorry,
always been, yeah, but go on, sorry. The common theme with Batman's always been he doesn't kill no matter what. I think because it's still early days, he still doesn't know constraint yet, and he's still very angry. It's angry at the world, angry at Gotham, and angry at criminals.
No, I get that, but it's not like okay, it's Batman, but it's not Batman. Do you get what I mean? Like it's a different Batman. He's a different person altogether.
Yeah,
so
but it's still the way I see it. He's still very much Batman. He's still Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
he's still going to carry the majority of the ideals and like the moral codes that Batman usually does. But I still think I think Ludo's spot on in what he's saying, as he's still learning, he's still growing. We'll eventually get to that point. I don't think we'll see a level of violence from this Batman that's on the same level as Ben Affleck's. I don't think that. even so, like in like comics or whatever like capacity, Batman can be very brutal without actually getting to the point of killing someone. I don't think we'll see him kill anyone in this movie in particular, but I think we could see maybe a scene where maybe he gets to a point where he's very close to doing it, but ultimately he doesn't.
Yeah. He pulls out what the reason,
yeah, but I feel definitely Ludo, what he said is right in terms of like the restraint. He's not sort of going to be 100% there yet because he's still young. He's still angry. He's still processing that grief kind of thing.
And I think still, because he's still early, still obviously he grew up rich and like, he's not contextualizing why people might even end up in crime as well. So obviously, as you say, Randy, as you know, Batman, he starts doing that charity stuff and tell Gotham years later down the line, he doesn't start off doing that. So obviously the context isn't there because some people think, oh, this guy's a criminal just because he's evil, but not because I got family to feed, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, even this is going to tangent, like what's it, Captain Cold, King Cold, was it?
So what was that?
Who is it? Which was it? King? Is it King Cold? Captain Cold?
Captain Cold.
Captain Cold.
Yeah, Captain Cold. Yeah, and the only reason why he became a criminal was obviously somehow find a way to keep the love of his life alive and shit like that. You know.
Oh, so, you mean Mr. Freeze?
That's it, Mr. Freeze. Yeah, that's me, Captain Cold.
Yeah, so Batman and Flash villains.
Yeah, Captain Cold.
Yeah, there's context to certain villains, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Certain criminals, should we say, that he's not necessarily looking at just yet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, but I think because it's on a separate Earth and it's not sort of like strictly tied to these other stories, I think it will be a very accurate reflection on Batman because I think they can sort of hone in on the Batman character and not have to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
So I think this has got the potential to be like the most accurate Batman that we've seen, maybe in terms of like how Bruce is and how Batman is in the way they act. Not necessarily like the suit and whatever, but yeah, in the way sort of Bruce is and Batman is, I think, and with the actor as well, isn't it? Because he's a very good actor. Over the past couple of years, he's put out some very good movies. So I'm very excited.
For sure. Okay, so if you were told that you could only watch or interact with one of the things from DC Fandome, and you would never get to watch or play anything else, what would you pick?
That's so hard.
So you got all the films, you got all the games.
You go first.
You got all the films, all the games, and you get told you can pick one, and the rest you will never see, you will never play. What are you picking?
I'd probably either the Snyder Cut or Batman.
Pick one.
But I can pick.
Gun to your head. Pick one.
Snyder Cut, man.
Okay. Ryan?
That's so hard, man. Because like, the thing is, I'm also thinking about just like I've never seen Black Adam in live action, but
yeah,
no, for me, I'm gonna go Snyder Cut as well. If I had to order it, it would have gone Snyder Cut, Batman, and then Black Adam. That's my top three, like anticipated at the minute.
You know what? I would say Snyder Cut too, but my top three would probably be Snyder Cut, Batman, and then the Knights of Gotham game. Like, I think I would need to play that game. Everything else can kind of go, but yeah, the Snyder Cut's definitely top. As much as we've kind of seen the Justice League film already, like, I need to know that. I think in my head, I need to know that Snyder's version would have blown Whedon's version out of the water by miles and eons. Like, I need to have that confidence and that confirmed for me.
As crazy as it would sound, yeah, like for a lot of fans, just watching the Snyder Cut will give them closure. And it's mad to
Yeah.
say that people need like closure over a movie, innit? But you do like I do, innit? I know I do. Like I need to see this movie, innit?
People did a lot of campaigning this. This type of social media campaign that was rivaled, it even overtook the campaign that people wanted for Young Justice to come back. It was even bigger than that. It was literally a whole movement.
Yeah.
It's
Like, we've never seen campaigning for like a show or movie like that.
No, you're right. I don't think we've seen an ongoing campaign for something that hasn't even been confirmed to begin with. That people were just like, we need to see this, because I think people knew, obviously, of Snyder's reputation as a director, and then from what Whedon delivered, people were just like, nah, this can't be the film.
This can't be it.
That that Snyder was working on. Like, we need to see the film.
Yeah.
That would have, to be honest, that film would have kicked off a whole new wave of, I guess, comic book movie fans. It would have competed against the likes of, the Avengers movies and all that kind of shit. I'm hoping that this Snyder Cut is that film, and if it's not, boy,
but I think it will be. I mean, I think it will be. But it's easy to say, look, because a lot of people like were just like, okay, well, what if the Snyder Cut comes? Like, obviously, it was at first the Snyder Cut doesn't exist, and then when it confirmed it does exist, it's okay. Well, it's going to be shit anyway. And then there's people saying, well, he's only going to change little bits. And then, Snyder comes out and he says, well, no, I'm not using any of that footage. It's a whole different movie.
Yeah.
And then you've still got people saying it's not, even though he's literally confirmed that it is. He literally told you, but people are refusing to believe it anyway. So it's a mad journey. It's a mad journey. But I think people will be happy with the outcome.
I hope so. Like, people are just haters, isn't it? Like, I think in the same way people were hating on Robert Pattinson playing Batman to begin with, and like people weren't excited about that.
Yeah. It was like even Ben Affleck as well when he was announced as Batman. There was mad haters when Ben Affleck was Batman. So that's just part and parcel of it. There's always going to be haters, isn't it? To be honest, but is what it is.
Comes to the territory. Say again, Luda?
You could go with the flow with that one, man. Just is what it is at this point.
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right. Was anything underwhelming for you guys? Like, is there anything that obviously the Fandome event was 7 hours long? There was loads of other stuff that we haven't really touched on, but was there anything that really stood out that was underwhelming aside from the Shazam panel?
I think maybe just that. Maybe just the Shazam panel was a little bit underwhelming for me. It would have been nice for us to. I didn't need like footage or anything. I don't even know if they're filming or whatever. I didn't need footage, but to just give us the title and nothing else, it was a bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe like some deleted scenes or stuff like that. It was just.
Yeah, it was literally just them just busting jokes in the panel. So yeah, it would have been nice if we got something more in that, and it would have been nice if they gave us more casting info for the other characters in Black Adam. But that's not underwhelming at all. I was still very happy with what we did get and the concept art. So
for sure. What
would you have to rate the Fandome out of 10? The event as a
I think it was, for what it was, I think it was a 10 out of 10 experience. I think start to finish, it was the ultimate DC event for people who love DC. If you didn't know about DC, if you were someone who just loved the films or you just want to know about the games, it was a 10 out of 10 event. It offered something to everyone.
And okay, now if you think about, say, Comic-Con, like San Diego Comic-Con, typically when they do this, you don't actually get to see the panels and that. Obviously with this, we got to see the panels, we get to see them talking. Yeah. Would you
it was much more interactive, man.
Where like DC kind of step away from it, Marvel kind of step away from the Comic-Cons because they're such a big thing. But if they stepped away from it, and they gave us this, I'm sorry, but this is better.
Way better.
Okay, I don't know if
we'll have to put the neck out to bring people back.
I think they need to. I'll touch on both points in a minute. I think there's still a need for physical cons. So I think if I was DC and I was Marvel, I would do both a physical and a digital event. I think I would have like a DC con or DC Fandome physical event, and whether Marvel want to do their alternative of it, whatever it is, like having that physical event will still be a titular part of nerd culture and engaging with the fans and having people come together, but also have the digital event, because the digital event was, I think for me it was a production value. Even though people were talking over Zoom and stuff like that, it was still, like I said, a good experience for DC fans. So if they do a physical and a digital event, I'm sold. That's calm. Now,
I think have the digital event that, like, say with like all these like trailers and movies and that, do they still market them trailers and that at the physical? Because that's like Hall H is typically the biggest thing at Comic Con.
Yeah.
They can't lose that aspect of it, otherwise.
But I guess then it comes down to the timing of it. So when DC Fandome happens, what's happening, what's in the future. So you can kind of still have the whole H moments, but then still have big reveals at DC Fandom, whether that's like physical or the digital or both. But just going back to cons themselves, I think when you look at San Diego Comic-Con and Comic-Con here in the UK and stuff like that, I think they're gonna last, but I think there's something missing at the moment. I think they're kind of losing something, and I'm not really sure what it is. I think from my experiences from going to Comic-Con here in the UK,
I think we was all in agreement about that.
Yeah, something seems to be missing at the moment. And I think if you're not a cosplayer, you're not going there to buy merch, Comic-Con is kind of missing something. And I can't lie, I don't know what it is, but there's something about the experience of Comic-Con which isn't necessarily enjoyable anymore, unless you're, like I said, unless you're a cosplayer, going there for merch, or obviously go and see friends, whatever. And I think it might have to do access to panels. I think it might be panel access.
I think the last time we were there, it felt like being a chore.
The last time I went to Comic-Con, last time we went to Comic-Con, I think was my worst experience at Comic-Con. I think because obviously we went there as in a press capacity and things weren't working well, and I'd woken up early as well. I got there mad early, and it just wasn't. It wasn't a good experience for me personally.
Did you find on the day, or if we found on the day, or did not do no press?
Yeah, like it was disgusting. I think
what Timmy is saying as well, even as like if you're just going for like just the experience, you're not going as press or something. There's still something. It's like over the last couple of years, it hasn't been as enjoyable.
Yeah, I think it's access. I think it's the panel access. I think it's getting access to see, the actors and the directors, whatever it is, who are. And I don't get me wrong, I get that's part of like con culture, like you have to queue up mad early to get into like the Hall H's or whatever it is. But just because someone can't get into Hall H doesn't mean then that they should miss out on part of the experience of con. Like,
it's not the only thing to do at Comic-Con.
Yeah, and even then, like, can you not put screens outside so people can watch, even though they're not inside the hall itself? Like, do people like? There's just little things I think that they need to work on to make sure that they're making sure con is enjoyable for everyone, not just people who are willing to queue up for 6-7 hours before a panel just for a 10-minute talk from, I don't know, Robert Pattinson or Gal Gadot. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, it's clear to see that Fandom was obviously like a massive success for DC. Yeah. It's just like, I could just see them like saying to themselves, well, if we can put on a digital event ourselves and it's this successful, then why do we need to go?
Like what's the need? What is the need essentially? Because what they could have done, San Diego Comic-Con could have been a digital event this year. They could have made it a digital event. They could have had all the panels from all the guests and all this and all that. But DC obviously said, "Nah, we're gonna do our own one," and it works. So
you cut the middleman like that, innit?
Yeah, they cut the middleman out, and it works. And to be honest, and even that it still felt like a con. There was stuff from artists. There was
that vibe to it.
Yeah, there's part of discussions on diversity. There was this. They still showed off cosplayers. They showed off people's art. They sold merchandise. Like everything you want in a con was there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. I think for sure.
I think going forward, that because obviously the 2010s Marvel had a stronghold. I think the 2020s will be DC's turn. Yeah, it'll be their decade.
I think once
just from seeing it from this fandom, just seeing, I think the 2020s will be DC's decade.
I think DC got this in the bag. I think DC said like, calm, like we've done animation, we've done the games for a bit. Like let's get back to making these movies and dropping these comics and letting people know that, you know,
Yeah,
like we're here in it. It's not everyday Marvel. Not everyday Marvel. Like DC got things too.
in between panels, seeing Walter Hamada and Jim Lee, the way they was talking about it, the way they was talking about how they're trying to push the movies forward, how they was talking about the multiverse, it feels like there's a lot more like sort of cohesion at DC.
Definitely.
And really starting to get like the ball rolling now, isn't it? So it's an exciting time to be a DC fan.
Absolutely. Like I can't like it reignited my love for DC. Like I want to go back in and read up more about the characters that I like. I want to get back into the comic books more. I want to play the games more. I want to feel like the way I feel about Marvel is the way I want to feel about DC. And I feel like Fandom has done that job in reigniting that spark in my love for DC. I think that's it. Anything else? Any other points you want to make?
I think that's everything.
We covered everything, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
That's DC Fandom. That was. Oh, what's your question? What do you think? What would a Marvel fandom look like? Do you think?
Right now, I think they'll talk about obviously Eternals, the Disney Plus shows,
Black
Widow,
4 movies,
and maybe some sneak peek into like X-Men stuff like that. But for now, the way Marvel is like they're kind of like they're kind of scaling back, should I say? So it wouldn't really make sense for them to do a fandom right now.
Mm.
They did have that thing a while back though, didn't they? It wasn't like a fandom, but when they released all the news about like Blade and
oh yeah, that was it was like Disney Con or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a Disney Expo, and they announced like,
yeah.
They didn't have that, but I don't think there was it wasn't as interactive with like visuals and stuff. So it wasn't accessible to everyone. We were just reading updates on Twitter as we was going along.
There was a few videos here and there. And then, yeah, it was okay. All right, so that is it for this episode of the Nerd Council podcast. Yeah, got fingers in that. No announcement.
Let us know.
Yes, let us talk to us about Fandom. Talk to us in the comments below. Talk to us about Fandom. What did you love about Fandom? What are you excited for? Do you like Patterson as Batman? Let us know in the comments below, like all your thoughts about Fandom. Hit us up on hit us on Insta.
You know what? You see the question you asked actually about if you had one thing that you had to watch from the Fandom and you wouldn't be able to play or watch or experience anything else.
We'll put it on the thread when the episode drops.
Yeah, we'll make that question for sure. But yeah, let us know in the comments, guys. Or if you're listening to this, let us know. Yeah. Actually, yeah, put us in the comments too. We'll drop it in a review too. If you're listening to on SoundCloud or Spotify and things like that, yeah. No announcements for this week. Still got things cooking, don't worry. But as always, thank you to ELGATO for supporting us. We love you guys. And we'll be back with a new episode soon enough.
Yeah, our Funko Pops, isn't it?
Oh yes, and also yeah. We're not gonna forget. Sorry. And yeah,
the background as well, bro.
Yeah. So we got a new we're in a new partnership with Funko as well. So expect some Funko related content from us on YouTube and Instagram. Look out for giveaways that we're organizing. But yeah, we're doing bits. We're doing bits out here. Like ain't COVID gonna stop us. But yeah, we're done, guys. Over and out. Peace out. Are you a content creator looking for some new kit? Well, ELGATO has a quality range of products just for you. That's right, ELGATO isn't just for gaming content. From the Chroma Key green screen, the key light which provides studio quality lighting, and of course the new Wave Run microphone providing outstanding quality audio, ELGATO is there to meet all your content creation needs. Visit elgato.com and check out the full range of products for more information. And a big shout out to ELGATO for supporting us.